Raymond Ng is the founding director of the UBC Data Science Institute and a professor in computer science. He is also the Canada Research Chair in Data Science and Analytics. His research spans diverse topics in data science, data mining, text analytics, and health informatics. His most cited research is on outlier detection and data clustering. He has co-led several large-scale genomic projects specializing in biomarker identification and development.
Hello, my name is Raymond Ng. I'm a professor in computer science at UBC, University of British Columbia, and I'm also the director of the Data Science Institute there. I want to take this brief presentation to summarize for you and link it to my research journey over the past 3 decades. My initial training is on data mining and machine learning, and over the past 20 years, I've been doing work on both on medical research, particularly genomics, and also on analyzing natural language text. Now, this brief presentation is not about what I did in the past, but about what I would like to do in the future, particularly integrating the two arms of my prior research for patient care. Let me make a case of why natural language processing, NLP, is important for patient care. In our healthcare system, we collect huge amounts of unstructured data, medical reports of various kinds. And even though machine learning is now being applied to electronic health records, machine learning models have primarily been applying on the more structured part of the electronic health records, but not the unstructured part of the electronic health record. So I'm going to give you a few examples in this brief presentation about how natural language processing could be very useful. Let me use cancer care as an example. There are generally 3 phases for a cancer patient. There's the diagnostic phase, there's the treatment phase, and then there's the post-remission phase. Diagnosis is when the patient is undergo multiple tests from which multiple reports were generated, biopsies, surgery, operations, pathology, etc. And if a patient is diagnosed with cancer, then he or she gone through different rounds of treatment, oncology, radiation, immunotherapy, etc. And even if the cancer has gone away, there's still an additional phase is post-remission. There's a lot of monitoring that goes on to just monitor for possible relapses of cancer. The current practice is that all these different types of documents that got generated in every phase are not linked together, and they're only read by humans health professionals. As such, because of the lack of healthcare resources, there's significant time delay. British Columbia, for example, for breast cancer patients, there's 18 months delay before pandemic, and now it's even longer to even process the reports. And so our work is trying to develop NLP tools that automatically extract from all these different reports what I call fields of interest, and so we could build models to predict whether a patient is going to respond to a certain treatment, and then also to build models to try to identify high-risk individuals who might need to be monitored for relapses. Now, it's not just about clinical documents. There's also what is called user-generated content. The user in this case are the patients, the families, and caregivers, their opinions, experiences, needs, feelings, mood, etc. This is a forum, an example of a forum where patients talk to each other, and is a good example to illustrate the different types of information we could extract from patients' conversations. First, there's what is called topic modeling. We want to know what patients are talking about, diet, treatment, etc. We want to identify the needs of the patients, health information, social support, etc. And then, even if we know what the patients are talking about, we want to understand why they are talking about certain topics. So these are called dialogue acts. For example, they may be worried about the side effects, or they may feel scared about a particular treatment. Finally, We want to understand whether the patient is saying coherent things, and this is really important. This kind of discourse coherence is really important, particularly for neurological conditions. Finally, talking about neurological conditions, also related is mental health and psychiatry. In psychiatry, in fact, even the clinical documents are not very structured. Psychiatric assessment is typically in natural language. And then, in addition to that, the user-generated content part is really critical. Affect refers to the underlying experience, feeling, emotion, and mood, and is important for mental health monitoring. To give a particular example, we have a data set that's 1,000 youths admitted to Vancouver hospitals through emergency room due to self-harm. And we have been using the admission notes, discharge summaries, which are all unstructured, and the social media posts 6 months prior to admission, trying to build a predictive model to identify those that might be of high risk of readmission within 3 months. And just to generalize this work, we want to be able to build this kind of mental health monitoring tools for other populations, cancer patients, seniors, etc. Thank you for your attention.